Bangladesh has emerged as a major player in the global apparel industry. The second largest exporter of ready-made garments to the United States, it has surpassed traditional suppliers like China and Vietnam. Now, how can it maintain and possibly expand its market share while also addressing some of the challenges of our time, such as increasing wages in the current economic climate and environmental impact? What could an ideal political and economic climate look like in which both higher wages in production and expanding market share in an inflationary US market could be addressed? Our conversation today here on DC to Dhaka, a new Press Express offering. Thanks for listening in. I'm Nicolette de Vidar. Now, Bangladesh has made impressive progress. With an annual GDP growth of 6.4% between 2016 and 2021, Bangladesh has outpaced its Asian peers and has done significantly better than the global average of only 2.9%. Bangladesh's GDP per capita, $2,800 in 2022, is higher than India's. Now, with its current growth rate, Bangladesh is on track to become an upper middle income country. Its economic success story is widely attributed to its ability to produce quality garments at affordable prices coupled with ethical manufacturing processes. The global decline, though, for ready-made apparel hit Bangladesh hard. Orders declined by as much as 30%, according to the Boston Consulting Group. Yet with demand for sustainable and ethically made fashion on the rise, Bangladesh's garment sector could be poised for further growth in the coming years, depending on how current challenges can be tackled. Speaking with me first is Shahidullah Azim, VP of Bangladesh Garment Manufacturers and Exporters Association. Thanks so much for joining us. Mr. Azim, let's dive right in. So with the ready-made garment market basically being the key pillar to Bangladesh's success, where are we currently? Like, how is our manufacturers dealing with the changing demand of consumer behavior in the United States, the global decline, and also inflation and manufacturing costs? Where do you see this go? What are you dealing with?
Thank you very much for your question. In fact, US and European market is our main market. We're exporting almost 55% to European Union market and 18 to 20% to US market. But last couple of months, our export was decreased due to, I think, inflation, economic shrinkage all over the world. Mm-hmm. So our order was a bit less than earlier, and our growth was a bit less. However, so we are very much optimistic because we are working with USA since long, and every year we had some increasement. But for the couple of years, I think after the COVID and the geopolitical crisis, we are facing back-to-back challenges globally. And that is why I think the growth was a bit less. And also same to all over the world for global economy shrinkage. So I hope still we have to go together in a good way, big way, and for which we are working a lot. As earlier it was we are only dominated by cotton products, cotton RMG. But right now, the global demand has changed their behavior for man-made fiber, for which we are working. And I hope with a very short time, we can fulfill our desire. We can supply you the man-made fiber for which we are making all the exercises.
Yeah, but here's the question. So we do know that the global market is changing and there is a global decline of the garments. So what are manufacturers currently doing in Bangladesh to actually deal with this? How do they prepare? Are you changing your focus? Are you shifting your focus? Are you looking towards more collaboration? Where do you see the wiggle room and the action points of view, so to speak, to tackle that issue? Because we don't know how demand's going to change, right?
Yeah. In fact, we have started our RMG business with the only 5 basic products earlier. But right now, we have extended our products, diversification of products. So I think we can also supply the high-value products, something like outwears, sportswear, jacket, such kind of products. Earlier, it was only limited within shorts, t-shirt, polo shirt, etc. So if we can make the value-added product, I think our revenue will also come up. The export figure will go up, and for which we are trying. Many factories are coming out. They are doing suit, blazer, lingerie, and outwears, sportswear. I think it will be a value-added product, and which will grow, which will increase our export basket for the US market. So not only for USA, we are changing our items also for European Union market and other market as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are things outerwear and lingerie and stuff. These are things people always need, right? And I know in the US that actually there's definitely people are interested in these items. Now let's talk a little bit about another issue here. So in the past century, very often, and up to this point, a lot of the supply chain was kind of one-way focused. So there was low-cost manufacturing, and this is in part why a lot of things were partially so successful, but also why the U.S. retailers were so strong, because there was the model has always been the low-cost manufacturing and the higher-end retail and the add-ups. Now, in the new paradigm, in the 21st century, the future is changing a little bit on this one. So we're looking more towards a more balanced approach in terms of how can we actually have higher wages on the one hand and dealing with keep the market share and sort of dealing with the decline of certain aspects. Is there something in the collaboration with US retailers, for example, that can be tackled and changed? Where do you see that go? How do you see this play out?
We have to collaborate because, we are sending same goods as China is sending to you. But in fact, we are getting less price in China or Vietnam. There is always complaint from our manufacturer. Same item, but we are getting less price. However, we want to make our product to the high value product. We are going to make our mind for not for the value added product, not for the volume value, and for which also we have to mix and match. So low end product and high end product together, because we cannot make it overnight, all the product high-end. So it will be there for low and high-end together. I think that is not a problem for our retailers. They are buying from other countries as well, both items, cheap and high-value product.
So I do have a question, though, for what you just mentioned. So why is China getting paid more than Bangladesh is?
I think this is absolutely for the importers or buyers, because we get the price from the customer, which is fixed by them. And out of their prices, what we are doing, we are buying the raw materials, we are paying the manufacturing cost, the utility bills and all. So I think they know better because they are paying same product I've seen in the Vietnam and China. This is much more than us. So I think this is not fair, because they have to have some ethical buying system. Same product from everywhere is same, but we are also using all the same material as per their requirement. I don't know why it's different than less than China or Vietnam or other country.
Yeah. And ethical buying, actually, for US consumers, that is also picking up. So to some degree, US retailers are facing more pressure on this one, because people are starting questions saying, like, is this actually a fair trade, or is this not? I want to dive into a little bit more in terms of where is the wiggle room in the collaboration between the retailers and the manufacturers, because the last century it was really all it was cost, and it was the high margins, and it was thinking also there was this expectation that you would be able to have a linear growth all the time. Now, with Bangladesh having been so successful in the last decade, really, particularly with all the progress, particularly in this industry, in the ready-made garment industry, how do we kind of also get across to people and that's generally not just in Bangladesh, but I think all over, the idea that this something cannot always be linearly growing, but everything is cyclical, which is why I think you're optimistic, because every time it's cyclical, it goes down a little bit, it goes back up. But somehow there is this idea in there, this linear thinking yet. So how can this be addressed properly?
Well, I think we also have some pressure from our customers for the increase of the wage for our workers, which we have done. Every 5 years, we have review of the minimum wage for the workers. And this is the time in the December, we already formed a wage board. It consists of labor leaders, entrepreneurs, and government. All together, they have decided the wages, and which we have to honor, and we're doing so. And we want that our workers, they also get good paid, and
Yes.
this is also the responsible for the beneficiaries, for our buyers, because we are working together. We are on the same boat. So one side they are pressuring for more wages for the workers, but the other hand, they are not paying the ethical what we supposed to get, what they are paying to China or Vietnam. That's very disgraceful for us, because same product, if we can't get their support, we cannot make it. We can even we want to increase the more for our workers, it has to come from the both end. So
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
to emphasize on that one.
Yeah, exactly. It has to come from both ends. So we did talk a little bit about business. We talked about market dynamics. Now I want to talk about how can we tackle this from both ends. What is an ideal political climate that can actually sort of work in this scenario and put a little pressure on both ends? What is an ideal climate you would see going forward in where this industry, the ready-made garment industry, can really take off again?
In fact, right now is in our country we have the national election after 5 years. I think by next month there will be elections. So after the election, I think everything will come normal, regular. I think it will be helpful for both of the countries. They will also get more satisfaction for buying and for us to deliver the goods on time. So we are working on that, and I hope it is our experience after every 5 years, and also the global market situation is not also same as earlier for everybody. Also, we are suffering for European market. There's less orders, and everywhere same inflation and all. So, despite of all these things, we have to go forward.
Absolutely. So, in terms of the most pressing issue to target on the political climate, in the collaboration between, for example, US retailers and Bangladeshi manufacturers, what would you say are the two most important points that need to be addressed right away?
Yeah, it's right, because we are working with the US markets for last 35, 40 years. We have very good relation with the US market as well as the European market. There are many customers, and we have to make more. I think there is some, for the time being, there is some political situation in our country for election. It will be over after 1 month. We are very much optimistic. We can again make the more relation very strong in between two countries, and as for our customer requirement, we can supply to them, and they will have also after 1 or 2 months, inflation will go down, and I hope the customers will also give more order for us.
But markets don't stop because of elections. I mean, we're in an election cycle here too, right? In the United States, there are elections coming up, but the markets don't stop because of election. You still have to deal with market conditions and in working out collaborations. I want to take your input on one other aspect here. Usually, it's the smaller players that are disruptors, right? You see this in companies. It's usually the smaller companies who actually are disruptors and usually are more innovative in their approaches. In countries too, we've noticed there is a trend that the smaller countries are actually better poised and usually more disruptive to get the handle on these global changes that are going on than other countries. You've seen that in Bangladesh, it actually proved amazingly resilient to all the global shocks, more so than many of the other countries in Asia and also in the Western world. So as an innovator, and from that perspective, where do you see the biggest growth potential going forward for your market, for the ready-made garment market?
Yeah. So I think in our there is a third world country. Our political system is something different than your country, and in which we get some struggle during the election period. And I hope we are always get rid of that such a problem, and we face the challenges. And in fact, some challenge we are facing in our that is European and US market. In meantime, we are also we have to go for the product diversifications and the market diversity as well to keep our growth. So in meantime, we are working for that. We are working with the Latin America. We are working with the Australia, Asian market to keep our growth sustainable. And for USA market, the big buyers are there. We are almost 20% we are exporting to US market of our total basket, and which is very prominent for us, very meaningful for us. So I hope that we can grow together, because customers also need their product on time and tested for a quality product, and we are habituated already supply or working with them for a couple of years. Over the years, we are doing such kind of thing. We are optimistic that I think for the timing might be the global situation and our own situation, country situation, bit slow market, but I hope we can overcome very soon. And we have to go for the more diversification products as per your country require.
So when you say diversify the products, making changes, adapting to different market changes, usually smaller players are much better in making this work. So do you feel confident on that note that you can do that?
Yeah, of course. We have confidence, and we are also trying for our best. We are making all the exercises as per the requirement of the US market. Earlier, we are limited with some basic items, but right now we are not only doing basic items. We are doing as per the varieties items, outwear and everything as the requirement for the US market. I think that will help us a lot. We are not limited with some specific item right now. And we are working with the very good customers in USA, so many big buyers, and I think they are also happy with us. They have the repeat order every year, and we can continue together.
Any last question, any support you wish to get from the government, for example, that is coming on or that is in place already? How can you be better supported or optimally supported? You as manufacturing, you represent the Manufacturing Association. So do you feel like what's the ideal support you get from the government?
In fact, our government, business-friendly government, they are always supporting us. Policy support, they also always with us, because as you know, we are the RMG export is the main item for us. Our sector, this is a single sector where we have exporting out of total 85% from RMG sector. So government is also very much concerned for our sector. They are trying to always give us support whenever we need support, that the policy support or other support. Even you have seen that after the COVID, they supported us a lot. We had to have close our factory for 2-3 months. They have give the incentive to us for the workers' salary and all, which we have already returned to the government. But the government also, I think they are also happy with us, and they are supporting us whenever we require their support.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the reasons why you actually did better than most other countries during that time. Thank you very much. Any last final words for you that you want to share with our viewers and audience?
We have already sent a letter to AFA for that. I know they have thousands of buyers under them. to increase of our prices because we have to pay the workers. Of course, they have to come forward because otherwise some small factory, they have to shut down because of wages increase. So I hope they'll come forward. They also told us they'll relay our message to all the customers for come forward with some good prices, which they are paying for other countries as well. So I hope in that way we can grow together, we can go forward, and we are the second largest. We want to sit on the I think the steering that is the largest RMG exporter of the world.
Excellent. And you're very optimistic, it sounds. So on that note, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Shahidullah Asim, Vice President of the Bangladesh Garment Manufacturers and Exporters Association. Thanks for watching. We wanted to shed some light today onto the challenges, but also opportunities for going forward with the ready-made garment industry, a big player in Bangladesh's success story, one that can even be refined and perhaps pivoted into yet another success story of greater growth going forward. I'm Nicolette Dividar from Washington, D.C. See you next time.